Now, it's semi-final number 2, Marion Haerty versus Elena Height. And for me, Elena Height, one of the most improved riders through men's and women's between 2021 and 2022. She looked to me like a different rider. But we're going to kick off with the French woman out of Chamrose in southern France. It's Marion Haity, 4-time freeride World Tour champion, back in Alaska for natural selection.
Natural selection event in Alaska is the pinnacle, I think. This is the top about what is backcountry for snowboarding. I think maybe Alaska is more a Chamonix style, steep, natural structures, natural features. Maybe I can reach differently this stage, maybe with less freestyle in my mind, but maybe more like jumping big cliff and going really straight with a fast style. I'm really excited about this stage because I think I can express my kind of snowboard on this one. I would like to say thanks to the North Face, Rossignol, Vans, and POC. We have the chance to express our creativity and projects thanks to this kind of brand. And I feel really lucky right now because I can make what I want for snowboarding, I can reach my goals, I can reach my dreams, and I'm really thankful.
So last year, Marion had punched her ticket to AK, but because of travel restrictions, was not able to make it into the last event. So this is a huge opportunity for her, and really this is her wheelhouse. She is so incredible at reading terrain and navigating technical steeps. We saw it in Jackson and Baldface. She goes mock down gnarly steeps.
But she has been introducing the freestyle element. She got that backflip and the 360 in there, and she got a background. She was riding slopestyle for quite a while before she got into border cross and then big mountain riding, and breaking fresh ground out here now to the rider's right-hand side down spine number 5.
She has so much confidence in her riding. I've been looking forward to watching her ride in AK since last year for sure. And look at that very, very nice drop.
Okay, she's got to work this speed out. She's killed it nicely, but if she wants to pull some of these features in and not just stay in the guts of this shoot.
Frontside air tap right there.
She's got loads to work with here. It's just making sure she can find it. So this is where the route finding comes in, because she's blind to this spine now. The drone gives us a little more perspective. She's found a window in here. And this is that sunny aspect, and there's a crust in there, isn't there? You could hear it. Big lump, this.
Okay, does a bit of a double hit, taking it a little bit conservatively off of that, but still,
Yeah, I'm going to go in hard. She could have attacked that more, and I think she'd say the same thing. There was some lovely exposure in there. Big clap of the hands. And the drop to start it off was really strong.
Yes.
But I do feel like if you get sucked down, we saw the same with Zoe's on the end and with Dustin Craven. If you get sucked into the guts of these shoots, you start to lose options. You want to be up on top of those spines.
Kind of a mix. Crusty, snowy.
We could hear that as well, couldn't we? Those,
super deep.
I think they're west-southwest, even southwest-facing sunny sides of the spines are getting a bit crusty, and we saw the instability in Hannah's run as well. Back up to the top now, and it is the turn of Elena Height.
I think in general, Alaska is the ultimate proving ground for snowboarding. There's no place in the world like it, and I grew up watching video parts from Alaska. I think everyone, really looks to Alaska as the pinnacle. And so I think it's really important that natural selection has a stop here. It really has all of the elements of snowboarding brought to this really pinnacle part of snowboarding and in a special place. And to be a part of, only the second year that natural selection is going to be in Alaska is really exciting. Yeah, I feel really lucky personally to be supported by a number of endemic brands that have had my back really for a long time in my career. GoPro, Jones, and my newest sponsor, Arc'teryx, have really supported kind of my transition into the backcountry. And so it's really great to see them on the Natural Selection Alliance and supporting me as an athlete, but also snowboarding culture as a whole.
You know, Elena's legacy as a halfpipe competitor is so grand. It's so strong. But in the past few seasons, I think that she's really found her home in the backcountry. We saw the beginning of her experience in Alaska in unconditional with Jamie Anderson, and she had such incredible riding in that. And that was when she was nascent in this terrain. And right now, she has so much momentum.
But we always see it, don't we? Ben Ferguson, Dustin Craven, Elena Height, pipe riders' edge control transferring effortlessly to backcountry terrain. When you've got board control like this, you can do what you want to a degree.
Yes, and just the start of her run, very, very smooth, very, very in control. And she has an inherent confidence in her line navigation that you can see very clearly.
And that's what I saw in Jackson, was this really, really strong confidence, like so settled on her board. And look at her, there's purpose. Like, it's almost like she's riding chin first, attacking the face.
Yes, totally. Oh, beautiful hack right there.
So getting high up onto this spine. Giving herself a pep talk as she drops down across. That's a lovely angle. Oh, a bit of a hesitation there. And this is literally, if you're a bank robber, you're burning time in the vault right now. Standing up there, you're signposting to the judges that you're not exactly sure where you are. So coming a bit further around this nose.
Finding her line again right now. Ooh, that is very gnarly.
Oh, and it's so hard as a rider because you want to commit, you want to go, because right now hesitation is telling the judges everything. Controlled that really well.
Oh my gosh, my heart was beating in my chest on that one. That exposure was, that's an intense thing to come up on.
Yeah, it was a drop that she obviously hadn't scoped, so she had to commit to it. She controlled the landing really well and then skewed herself over the bars a little bit. Coming now, same hit that we saw Zoe take on.
Going backside 360 and getting it around.
Yeah, I think she's made the judges' job easy there, is what you say about that. Those two big hesitations in the middle of the face, judges are going to pounce on that. We know how hard their job is, and the moment you give them an excuse, they're going to grab that with both hands.
Completely.
Oh, let's go. So sick. Yes, I'm happy. Sick. Yeah. To open the cliff at the top was really beautiful.
We talked about how confident Marion was on that run, and that was a complete contrast in terms of Elena there.
Yeah. It didn't feel very... No, it was nice. Oh, sick.
Okay, let's take a look at a recap. First up, it's Marion.
This is a very interesting matchup, of course, because both these riders are so strong, and they both went after very different routes.
I love that little needle thread up at the top there. Same thing that we saw Dustin Craven backside 3-through. And then over this roll, that's that bowling ball effect that we talked about. Like, turns in there. She could have sideslipped easily off the nose of that, but she had the confidence.
That angle really shows more of its size, too. That was a very sizable drop. Getting that grab in right there, very key when it comes to what the judges are looking for.
And I feel like this last drop, it'd be good to see this from a different angle, just in case the drone flattened it, but I would have liked to have seen her attack it maybe a little bit more.
And speaking of attacking, those beautiful turns from Elena right at the top.
And this is crunch time for Elena right now. Like, she needs to make it through these semis if she wants to entertain the idea of taking that natural selection overall title. That was almost a butterback three. Yeah. So it's still very, very close. We'll get a great indication of how much the risk category and criteria play into the judges' hands here, because Elena's slowing down. Once you start slowing down, you're reducing the risk. So the judges that's what we were talking about, the judges jumping on. 74 for Marion, 65 for Elena Height. Elena Height on the lowest score so far, because we had 76 for Hannah Beeman, 78 for Zoe Sadowski-Sinot. So right now, after the first runs of the women's semis, Elena Height is in fourth place. Okay, and now we come back to this very tight matchup between the Freeride World Tour veteran Marion Haerty, so much experience in big mountain terrain, and she's going up against the pipe maestro Elena Height. Marion in the lead at the moment. Can she put a full stop, a period on the end of this semi-final matchup with this run?
Big drop to start off the top of her run, following that line that she took during the first go.
Then Craven had fallen in that hit in between these, so she had to be careful there. There was a little bomb hole to watch out for, but super direct onto this bowling ball, the terrain all bending out of sight in front of her. She's got to know where she's going. Bounces out of that one.
And now, of course, she's into that gut. As you said, Ed, before, it's like watching the amount of vertical that you have and finding those hits still like this one. And backside 3.
Oh, and she's gone down there as well. And it's so funny, isn't it? You watch some of those runs, like Torstein's, like Mark McMorris's, where they get 1 hit, 2 hit, 3 hit, and then it's all on, the confidence is there. You drop 1 hit, and then you drop the next hit. And you drop, and it starts, it all compounds. If it's going good, it'll go great. If it starts going a little bit bad, it can be horrific by the bottom. But Marion just starting to salvage this a little bit. Interesting she came back to this because we both identified this first run as a really difficult area of the face.
Ooh.
Oh, she has been worked there.
And you can hear that in the audio.
It's the air getting
exhaustion.
driven out of your lungs with every tomahawk. You're kind of landing on your back.
This is so physical. Riding these faces, these spines are so physically demanding. And these riders are so accomplished and so athletic, but it still takes a toll.
Well, I remember when I watched Baldface replay for the first time, I actually think the final between Mikkel and Dustin was decided on stamina by the time they got there. And these Alaskan faces are the biggest ones that the riders are on, and they're certainly the steepest, so it takes the most effort to keep your speed under control.
So right now, as you said, Marion is in the lead, but the door is open.
It's wide open. Wide open for Elena Height at this stage. And from the evidence of what we've seen from Elena over the last 2 stops, if she, like the turns she's putting down, her confidence on her edge, and the one thing you know with Elena is that she's got the tricks. First woman to put a front 9 down in the pipe when she was 13 years old. First person ever to put a double rodeo alley-oop in the pipe down in competition.
Taking those never been dones to become the first woman to drop grizzly spines in Tahoe, a legendary backcountry area just a few years ago.
Yeah, and then she's been mentored by Jeremy Jones as she makes that transition into the backcountry. So she's got all of the components there. And her riding is so well-rounded now. It really does feel like it's coming together. Kicks off with a drop off that top nose.
And she looks confident at the top of her run. Very, very strong, very, very smooth.
I thought she was looking at this. She's not looking at that diving board, is she? Off the side of it. Oh! And couldn't get the toe edge in. And she just belly flopped into that pocket. You heard the whoomph of air as she took that one. Organs first. Found her composure again, though. Looks like she's got some nice turns there just to settle herself.
That's a nice line. Navigating this very technical section with a plum right now.
Yeah.
She heads into...
She needs something here, though. She needs a statement if she's going to want to give... Oh,
big drop.
Interesting. She goes back to the spot where she hesitated last time. Now she knows that part of the face. She's opted to get in there. She's on top of a lot of exposure here. Coming down the side of it. Couple of quick turns.
Ooh. A little bit of snow release. She navigated the bottom of that spine very well, I think, after that.
But what we can't hide from here is the fact that that run is very similar to that big mountain style run we saw from Hannah Beeman on going down on the back 3 as well. Hannah Beeman took that style of spine riding, and no matter how impressive it is, unless you have the freestyle elements, you're not going to score. And Elena there, I would say, has failed to reel in Marion Haerty. She got given an opportunity. Marion wasn't able to better that first run score, and it meant that Elena still had a window of opportunity, but it hasn't worked out for her.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think the first run scores are very potentially going to hold for these two.
Yeah, I can't see either of those upping. Interesting, isn't it? Because it shouldn't have been about stamina here at this stage, but that's what it looked like.
Well, I really think it is, these runs are long and it's really navigating deep snow, landing into powder. I mean, this is, very exhausting.
And you can't underestimate the fact that there's a long wait between the runs. So all of that adrenaline that you've built up in the first run is just starting to seep out.
That's a really, really good point.
You can see, I love this section at the bottom. It's beautiful, but without the freestyle elements, i.e. a backside 360.
I agree. I think what she was going for had a lot of potential, but just without landing that, that's a ding.
Yeah, it's the classic case. How many times have we seen it in natural selection? The run's right there at your fingertips, but it slips through them. So Marion's 74 from the first run will be the score that counts. And she will face Hannah Beeman in the final.